Hello, everyone, and welcome. Uh, I'm Derek, and we're going to be playing a solo RPG tonight, as we do every time I stream something. So, tonight, let's just get right to it. We're playing. That isn't a good shot. There we go. Lörd, or Lörd, I guess, if we pronounced it correctly, the way uh, you do in Swedish. And this is by Wash Your Hands Games. And this is a tweak of their Lineage game. There it is. Lord is a Heck of Lineage, also by Wash Your Hands Games. And Lineage is about building a line, but this one is set in the Merkborg world, which I think is absolutely amazing and fun. I am a huge fan of Merkborg, and I am not fully prepped. I forgot that I was going to need dice. Luckily, I've got a big old sack of dice here. So we'll grab what we need, which isn't much. We just need 2d6s. And the way this game works is when we roll, they say roll 2d6. I'm more a fan of the way Merkborg and some other games refer to it, which is d66. So we're going to roll these two dice, and we're going to treat them like percentile dice. So the blue die is going to be the 10s. Green die is going to be the 1s. And so we'll get an ordered pair of numbers, which will tell us what we get. The other thing that I'm going to draw your attention to right away is I'm going to be cheating a little. Coming up with names is hard. And part of this is coming up with names. But fortunately, they provide a table here of random names. So I'm going to be using that a fair amount in this game. Alright, so let's go through. As official historian, it is your duty to maintain a record of the lives of lords and ladies, thus ensuring the stability of the fiefdom. You will record the lives of lords and their offspring. You will keep a family tree with the complete record of the bloodline. You will keep an official history of the achievements of individual lords. Begin with a single lord. Choose their name. Oh, right off the bat. But we've got a table. I can roll my d66, and I got a 24. So we have Lord Urine. I doubt I'm pronouncing that right. And I sort of messed around with the screen trying to figure out what the best way to do this was, and I think I'm going to mostly hide the PDF from you guys, because I think it's going to be more interesting to see the family tree that I'm writing as I'm going. So I'm using Google Docs for this. Alright, so this is Lord Urine. And we need to come up with a nickname for them. What they refer to as a cognomen. So he is the Conqueror. need to figure out who his consort was. 21. A cousin, kind and weak. And we should have a name for her as well. 35. Hoon. And then we need to know about the offspring. So we roll 2d6 to determine how many offspring the Lord produced. So that's 8. But we have to subtract 1d6 to determine how many lived long enough to wield power. 1. One died before they could become old enough. That's not what I wanted to do. This is. And for each one, we roll 1d6 to find out whether it is a male or female heir. So 54 is Ninum. And Ninum is male. Number 2 is Alank, who is also male. Number 3 is Benuf, who is male. 4, 55, Newell, who is female. 35, Hoon. And Hoon is male. I feel sorry for Newell. That's a lot of brothers for the only sister to have. 66, Wymack. And she is female. And 7, 51 is Lugus. And Lugus is male. Okay, so what happened during Lord Aaron's power? Oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. There we go. For each lord, roll 2d6 on the table below. Roll at least once. These are the events which shape the lord's rule. Okay, let's see what we got. 21. And I'm going to cheat a little bit on this. The Lord's closest relative gathers a band of mercenaries intent on launching a claim on a neighboring fiefdom. Providing support could greatly enhance our power or drag us into an unwanted conflict. And I'm going to say that this led to a long war that eventually enhanced our power. Let's go with both. Once events have been chosen, you may roll 2d6 for curses and opportunities. These are additional events, but can also be prompts for quests. Alright, let's roll one of these. See what we get. 51. An interesting new use is found for a resource we have too much of. Let's see, what could we do here? What resource? You know what? Let's talk. Let's say, iron is, we learned how to smelt iron into steel. Much stronger metal. And then a demise. Let's see what we get. 61. Ooh. Lord Yoren was poisoned. Let's see, who would have poisoned Lord Yoren? Oh, I didn't even notice that. I hadn't put together that Lord Yoren was known as the Conqueror. I guess it makes sense that it led to a long war. I'm going to say that Lord Yoren was poisoned by Ninum. Obvious choice was the heir. So now we move to the next generation. And what was Lord Ninum known as? 61. The Unholy. Ooh. And let's see, what about a consort? Let's see what we get here. 54. A close relative who delights in torture. And you know what? We don't have a ton of relatives. Well, other than siblings. Oh, let's go for it. I suppose this is when I am supposed to say things about safety tools. Some of the games we play on the channel can be somewhat dark. Um, I don't really have an idea of what's in the games. I try to read as little of them as possible beforehand. Um, I do not support marrying and procreating with your siblings, but it makes for an interesting story. So we will go with it. My apologies if this is a issue for you. Please feel free to stop watching if such is the case. All right. So how many offsprings did Ninam and Newell have? 8 offspring. And how many of them died? 2. So 6 lived to be old enough to wield power. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and say that Lord Nenum is going to name his first male heir also Nenum. And the first female heir is going to name Hoon. So his name and then his mother's name. Not a huge fan of his father, though. Killed him off. So, first one is a female heir. So that is Hoon. We need to stick to the unholy. I think we know why he's unholy. He married his sister. Second heir is male, so that will be Nenum the second. Come on, Derek, be consistent. Pet peeve. I don't think any of the other children are going to be named after people previously in the family tree. So let's roll some random names. What do we get? 63. Torin. And Torin is male. And then we get 13. Annam. Sorry, I had trouble telling it whether that was an M or an RN. And Annam is female. And next is 56 for the next sibling. So that's Pirug. Pirug. And Pirug is going to be female. And the last child to make it to an appropriate, a ruling age goes with 34, which is Hargis. And Hargis is male. So what happened in Lord Nenam's reign. And we rolled a 44. By the way, let's take a second. Part of what makes Merkborg so much fun is just the style. I mean, look at this. The bright colors, they describe it as the heavy metal of role-playing games. And it really, blood splatter on the page. So good. Someone being eaten by lions. This is the sort of stuff that we get. This is why I like Merkborg. Is this the aesthetic? All right. Enough about that. Let's go back over. Nope. Ruh-roh. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Sorry. Sorry. Give me a second. Sorry. All right. Oh, we can't really see what's going on, can we? Because I am too far down. There we go. All right, so the Lord's heir demands they abdicate. Would this be best for the fiefdom, or should such insolence be punished? I think it would be punished. And I'm going to say Nenam II is executed for his insolence. I like that. That's fun. You know what? Let's do another occurrence. I want something more. Something I can really dig my teeth into. 45. Radical steps are taken to ensure loyalty, kindness, or cruelty, which is likely to garner the best results. Oh. This just follows right along. Cruelty is used to suppress isn't quite the right word. Oppress the fiefdom. No one is safe from Nenam's rage. And I'm going to say this is a... Is it a result? No. This is the cause of Nenam II calling for abdication. one more. One more. 54. The children of the fiefdom are led into the wasteland by a wandering minstrel, angry at a business deal gone wrong. What is to be done? uh, the minstrel is hunted down and slaughtered mercilessly. Unfortunately, half the kingdom's children were killed during their rescue. We use rescue in quotes because not much of a rescue, is it? Alright. Yeah, I like that. That really and that fits with the unholy. It's such a such a good name. Alright. So let's see. Curses and opportunity. Let's go with one of these. 14. The heir is stricken by a foul pox. Advisors claim a cure is possible at great risk. So scrolling back up, I glossed over a point. My apologies. The way the game is set up uses fairly traditional lordly inheritance. It goes to the eldest male down through the male children, and if there are no male children, it then goes to the eldest female child. So I sort of skipped over the fact that Hoon wasn't made the heir. But you know what? I think that's a good. Or do we want that to be Needham as well? Huh. Let's go with. It's Needham the second. And what could the cure be that could be at great risk? Let's go with some lore. Nope. If we're gonna, yeah, it's not Needham the second who's sick. Who is the next child? Torin. And this is going to be after Needham the second's execution. And it requires the blood of the basilisk, of the two-headed basilisk is needed. This brings us back to some Merkborg ideas. They have the two-headed basilisk that is this godly being and is bringing down destruction. So we'll tie it in like that. It was not obtained. Poor Torin, we knew you so shortly. Alright, and so how did Ninum die? What was his demise? 14. Slowly of an infected wound. I mean, there must have been some sort of battle. Oh, no, no. Suffered during a jousting match. The opponent was executed for injuring the Lord. Yeah, I like that. Alright. So, and you can't see again. So who's next? Lord. Well, we killed off Ninum. We killed off Torin. So I guess it's Lord Hargis. And Lord Hargis is known as 52. The Three-Fingered. Ooh. That's interesting. I wonder if he actually had 3 fingers, or if that's some sort of euphemism for something else, and is actually referring to something he did during his reign. We'll have to see what comes up. Alright. So let's see about a consort for Lord Hargis. We rolled 46. A traveling merchant. So let's go back to our names. $42. Jack. And let's see, how many children do they have? Come on. I want a small number. I want something interesting to happen in this family tree. Oh, 10. That's not small. And let's see, how many of them died? 5. And all I could just think of was, well, at least a bunch of them died. What a horrible person I am. But these people aren't real. Only 5 lived to adulthood. Alright. So, let's think about naming. Lord Hargis probably wouldn't have named anyone after his father, Ninum. But he probably would name him after his grandfather. So the first male heir is going to be Eorin. I think I'm pronouncing it different each time it comes up. So the first one is female. So we need another name. 55. Newell. Second one is also a girl. 65. Vel. Third one is also a girl. 22. Drac. We looking mighty like the possibility of a female taking over the line. Oh, and the fourth child is male. And so we decided that that would be Eolin the second. And then the last child is a girl. So we'll go back to our name table. 45. Criff. Well, I wonder what's going to end up happening to Eolin, because I kind of feel like he's not going to make it to actually be the next Lord. Just my guess. Alright. So let's see. What happens? We still need to come back to that 3 fingers. Why does... I've forgotten the name. Why does Lord Hargis only have 3 fingers? And we rolled 36 for an occurrence. A plague of nightmares infects the fiefdom. It becomes impossible to distinguish waking from sleep as the people live out their dark fantasies. Ooh. What flavor can we add to this? I don't think I want to add anything to this. That, in and of itself, is a good description. But let's go with another occurrence. 32. A foul beast stalks the land, devouring peasants in their homes. How should we deal with this threat? Well, I'm going to say Lord Hargis goes off to fight. Not to fight, to slay it. Very noble sounding. Noble, I don't think is quite the word I want to use here. Quite the upper crust type word. To slay it. Peasants don't slay. It's too snotty for them. Goes off to slay it and loses 2 fingers on his right hand. The 3-fingered. We got it. don't think I want to know the recurrence. So let's move on to curses and opportunities. 32. Books are disappearing from the Lord's personal library, among them a particular volume whose contents should never be read by human eyes. It is never heard of again. I like this. See, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I need to finish writing an adventure, a Merc Borg adventure, that I'm going to be streaming in a week and a half. And I need a MacGuffin device. I need a reason for them to go exploring. They're going to be going for this book. This is going to be awesome. We're going to highlight it so I remember. All right. So now we're up to Demise. How did Lord Hargis die? 61. No. 61 is poison. We already had that. We're going for something different. 22. Of an ancient curse. From having lost the accursed book. More lore that I can throw at my players when we stream this. And surprisingly enough, Eolin the Second survives. So there's something that I really want to get to. Because we haven't hit every feature of this game yet. So the big thing that we haven't hit yet is what happens if there's no heirs. But we aren't going to force it. So, what is Lord Eolin known as? 45. The Dreamer. That's a much more positive name than I would have expected. I'm hoping Lord Eolin is a good person. 24 for the Consort. Married. The offspring. Manipulative. Offspring of a courtier. We need a name. And the name is going to be 24. Did I did. Eorin, not Eolin. And the reason I realize this is 24 is Eorin again. Not going to have him marry someone with the same name as himself. 46. Well, I guess there's more to it than that. I mean, he can't. They wouldn't be able to procreate. Not without modern medicine, which doesn't really fit the theme of what we're going here. So 46. Yant. Okay. How many children do they have? And once again, I'm looking for a low number here. And it's not giving it to me. 8 children. And how many of them died in childhood? 4. So only 4 survived to adulthood. All right. So let's go take a look at some family names that might be used. I think Eorin the Third would be a good name. I think Hargis would be a good name. I think Jack would be a good name. So these are all family names. At this point, we've gotten a lot of names out of that table. I kind of want to start reusing some of them. All right, so eldest child is female. Second child is male. Third child is male. Fourth child is female. We need another female name. Doubt he would have married or would have named anyone after his sisters. So wait, hold on. Lord Eorin's mother is Jack, and his grandmother would be Newell. So let's have him name his other daughter, after his grandmother. All right. So what sort of occurrences happened? And remember, this is the dreamer. 55. A horde of undead lays siege to the Lord's keep. I think we're going to use dreamer to mean that he wasn't very good. He was ho hum and whatever happens, happens. Um, Eorin waited for a rescue for a neighboring fiefdom to um, destroy the undead. No, not indeed. Undead. Oh. Let's go. I want another occurrence. This is the interesting stuff. 12. A spy master has turned traitor and seeks sanctuary within our fiefdom. They may hold helpful information. Protecting them may lead to bloodshed. They may be trying to fool us. Lord Yaren extradites them in a show of goodwill or weakness, depending on your point of view. All right, I like that. Curses and opportunities. 23. The Lord discovers they have an incredible talent. And what should that talent be? Ooh, I know. How about turning lead to gold? That's a nice fantasy trope we can throw in there. And then a demise. 32. By a betrayal. Who would betray him? Let's have it be his wife. Who wanted power for her son. So we're up to Lord Yarn the Third. And what was the Yarn the Third known as? 54. The Gluttonous. And for consort, 25. And let's see what name we... You know what? I'm just going to reuse a name because I want to. We're going to go up to... Nope, not Newell. Wymack. And let's see. Next, I believe, is how many children they had. Come on. Small number. 3. We might not have any offspring, any heirs. I rolled a 6 for how many died. The last part of the game we've been missing. So this would be when we go through the names, but we don't have any. So on to occurrences. 65. A neighboring fiefdom proposes the marriage of the lord's heir to their lord's offspring, who is understood to be chained in a dungeon for their own safety. Such a pairing would increase our political standing. You know what? I am fine with that. And here's how we're going to make those two things fit together. Eorin the Fourth dies before he can be married. I suppose I should put in here that this is agreed to, but let's go with another occurrence. 12. No, we've rolled that before. Something different. 32. Did we get this one already? Does not look like it. A foul beast stalks the land, devouring peasants in their homes. How should we deal with this threat? Lord Eorin the Third hires adventurers to slay the beast. All right. How about curses and opportunities? 14. The heir is stricken by a foul pox. We've done that one. 22. Corpses are being stolen from the keep's crypt. Well, that's interesting. And it's even more interesting if it stays a mystery. The people believe that Eorin the Third what dark things could he be doing? He's known as the Gluttonous. He's giving in to cannibalism. All right. So how does he die? "11. He bursts into flames." Well, that's unexpected. It is believed that this is the gods smiting him for his cannibalism. I cannot spell believed. It's one of those words that I always get wrong. And you guys can't see, can you? There we go. All right. So now we get to, you know what? Let's switch it over so you guys can read it as well. Laws of succession must be adhered to for the sake of stability. Lordship usually passes from parent to child. If no immediate heir is left to survive the Lord, the throne will pass to the children of the Lord's own siblings. When this happens, the forgotten cousin table must be used to determine how the bloodline has changed. And we'll go through an example. So, Eorin has a younger brother, Hargis. Um, all right, so let's go back to our story. After Eorin the Third's death, the crown is passed to Hargis. I believe we have, yeah. To Hargis the second, the son of Yoren's brother, Hargis. And now we need to roll on that table to see how things have changed. 65. Misogynist. You know, I don't like that. I want to roll something different. 24. Oh. Frightened of witches. I like that better. But I'm going to leave this here. We've been doing this for a little over an hour now. And I think we've got a good family tree. Going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 full generations, and we know who the next Lord is going to be. So I am happy with this as it is. So I'm going to sign off, and as always, remember, it's not a problem if you play by yourself.